Alrighty, everybody. Here we are. Second round. Australia. Welcome back to another race of the DRC Formula 1 Championship. We lost one person in remembrance of last week. Last week we were 14, I think. This week we are 13. Sadly, my whole the whole overlay isn't fully fixed yet, but at least we have a track map with all the straight modes and really wriggly cars, which isn't my fault, but it's more of a lobby situation. I hope it won't be too bad today. But yeah, welcome to Australia, second round. We're a bit more realistic this season when it comes to the race calendar. We're starting Bahrain, going to Australia. At heart, Australia will always be the ultimate season opener. That was unexpected. But I guess Cherry didn't like the straight line mode sign after turn 10. Thumbnail is still Silverstone, as we remember, because no one's giving me thumbnails. But let's look at a lap on Albert Park. And the first yellow flag. Obviously in this game, the yellow flags are deadly, disabling your overtake mode. But, still, looking at this lap though, turn 3, 4, 5 are probably new challenges when it comes to the battery regulations, because you want to have, obviously, high recharges, and here we had the lift. We had a lift, and we'll have another lift, probably at the end of this straight. Ref 117.085 for Aston Martin that we have here this season. Cherry also tipping the grass a good bit. I know why, because Raid isn't driving. Raid was signed in, and he's not here. There's a lot of lifting going on. That's a lot of lifting. In qualifying already. I was prepared for it for the race, but that's a lot. 189 is probably also not really the fastest, as we can see. Nearly 2 seconds down. This Audi's starting to worry me. This Audi is starting to raise concerns for the well-being and the driver not being under the influence of anything. Alrighty. Kimurai's lap is invalid. Spooderman's lap is invalid. We are with one Haas yet again. Last week it was Leclerc. This week it is Retro. There's also more cruising at the current state. Mr. G-Bull, who looks like just recharged for a second flying lap. The PlayStation driver, who is subbing in for McLaren here today. Which Cadillac was it? Sharking. There's a lot you can blame on regulations, but there's also a lot of just being clumsy here in these first 6 minutes of qualifying that we are seeing. Yeah, G-Bull aborted. Yeah, it feels really clumsy. It feels really clumsy. Kimirai stuck behind Spooderman. The Audi now making a mistake. The Red Bull also being stuck now. This qualified... I don't even know. It's not even... You can't even blame commentators' curse for this. This just feels really, really clumsy. We're also only with one Ferrari again. We have Masquerader here giving his season debut after Mishko was there last week. Unlucky. Being involved in probably the only relatively major collision we have. Masquerader moving up to third. 1,000 of a second ahead of RD Gamer. But nobody really even close to ref at this point. What can the Cadillacs do? Obviously, Raid having a little bit of a buck at the end of the Bahrain race. Classified 4th, if I'm not wrong there. They're the last ones to set their time. I'm guessing they're saving a tire set. Oh, guessing they're anticipating safety cars during the race, which is not unlikely for a track like the Albert Park. This is usually one of those safety car bred tracks when we come here in an EA game, or rather in general, with the fast chicane proving rather deadly on multiple occasions. What can Raid do? Across the line, 1:18 something, 18.6. Sharking the second Cadillac across the line. 1:19.2. The field is really spread apart. Yellow sector 1. What was it? Was it Williams? No. It was probably Mr. Salmon, I think it is. The irony of an Aston Martin being in front, we have it only in DRC. This still looks really cursed. "29 laps here today." Now ref is costing people lap time. I mean, obviously you need to let people buy it. This is more on EA with the local yellows, but it's not entirely optimal. Right. Let's see what the currently fastest man on track can do. Second gear for the battery recharge now. Going up to the long straight. Some lifting. There's an Alpine. Not costing any lap time. That's how you do it. Ref faster in the second sector than he was before. Obviously making the jump over from Alpine to Aston Martin this season. I think even Aston Martin team principal, if I'm not completely wrong there. Completely throwing the car around the fast right-handers and the penultimate corner. There we go, my English. Onto the start-finish straight. Out of battery, but still into the 116s. Now let's see what the Alpines can do. Currently in 7th and 11th. fighting for glory, and that's at least 1 lap compromise because there is a McLaren parked. That you can't really blame the game for, because that was a completely legitimate yellow flag. G-Ball having a little bit of an oopsie. Down in turn 4. Next yellow flags, one of them is Kimi. Run up in Bahrain, 5-second penalty given for that one collision that we saw. Being moved down to 3rd. Audi being one of the big surprises in Bahrain. Shari even getting some lead laps in for the German manufacturer who took over from Sauber. That is a great second sector. The purple I'm not fully trusting, but that doesn't change the fact that the second sector was great with half a second of improvement. Which would catapult her in front of the reigning world champion. He's currently in 6th with his Cadillac. Now what can the Audi do? To the 117's 5th. That's an invalid lap. And the loss of the overtake mode. Can Char King improve regardless? Around the last corner for the Cadillac. Has to find around 3/10 to get past the Alpine. Passes both Alpines up to 8th. Prototype. Nobody able, seemingly, to get even close to ref's lap time. With the 1:16.933. Now what can Proto do? Second, 1:17.5, but still more than half a second down. I don't even need to play devil's advocate here, but that's a lot. That's almost that's a lot. That's almost McLaren round 1 real life F1 a lot. 3.5 minutes remaining with this second qualifying session of season 15. And we'll still be seeing the hunt of who can top this qualifying. I have my thoughts about who might be on pole for the second race, but you'll never know. You'll never know until you're across the line. I think that's Tundra ahead of Ref. Yeah, Tundra is the only Alpine on an outlap. Very aggressive wiggling. The Alpine already wiggles aggressively, but the Aston is... You can tell they don't need the tire anymore after the qualifying session. But let's see. They might actually... I think it's timed perfectly for Tundra But now there's... No, it's not. There's a huge loss now because they're all losing overtake mode in turn 1. Maybe Ref has it timed perfectly to not lose it through this section. Avoid yellow flags. He didn't avoid them. Masquerader causing one. And now causing a bigger one because he went wide. Tundra didn't have the biggest luck, having stuck with the yellow flag and the loss of the overtake mode relatively early in the lap. Now there's another one caused by a McLaren. Tundra nearly 3 tenths down. That's the loss. That's the loss you suffer when you don't have overtake mode. You'll lose it here again because of the the Cadillac and the Williams. And now they'll probably either they get on with it, or Ref will lose his final run. He will lose his final run to the Williams and the Cadillac. And he spins! This is just clumsy. Like, this is just really, really clumsy. Especially with the Williams and Caddies so close together anyway. RD improves, I think rate improves as well, but this is a really, really clumsy qualifying session. Haas, I think, is stopped in turn 1. And now these two are right behind each other. Okay. And now Raid will lose overtake mode because there's an Audi spun out. Still improves to 3rd. RD kind of sacrificed himself for Cadillac, I'm guessing. Keep me right, currently 7th. I think didn't have anything to do with any of the shenanigans. Now coming across the line. 4th. Masquerader 5th. There's a McLaren parked. The Haas is also not entirely fast anymore. I wonder what happened here. Because there's the wrong side of the tires dirty to actually say that he went on the grass during braking, maybe? A really, really odd and clumsy qualifying session, especially towards the end. That was, yeah. That was quite something, but it leaves us with quite the interesting grid for the race. The top 7 all being different. All being different constructors. And here we have it. The end of the qualifying session. Ref is on pole. Even though after the last one being majorly compromised. Prototype in 2nd, Raid in 3rd. Reigning world champion starting in the 2nd road. Sharing it with Kimirai. Masquerader on a season debut in 5th. RD, Cherry, Sharking, Tundra Salmon, Jibo, Retro, and Spooderman. Ending up with 13 drivers we have for this race here today. Now, until this race starts, I will take a little break. You guys get some snacks, get something to drink, and we'll hear each other back in the formation lab. And here we are, back in the formation lab for the second round of season 15. Let's look at the tires and see that this time we have a little bit of a change. We have one person dividing the grid. Top half on medium, bottom half on medium, and then that one Audi in the middle. Having the hard tires on their Audi. Let's see if that is something that can work out for Cherry in the end. Alrighty, real quick on to check if I set up everything correctly. Perfectly matched to see the tire strategies. I don't think that's a two-stop that we're having, that people are gonna drive the hards twice. I think if there's a two-stop, it's gonna be like double soft or something in Australia. But that is something we don't look at right now. Now we'll look at the cars forming up on the grid. All 13 of them. Wrap on pole. And we saw that last time around, and I'm still questioning it because it's really weird to look at, but I guess. Anyway, everybody's parked. Now we're just waiting for the 5 red lights. When they go off, the Australian Grand Prix is on the way. And here we go! Ref having a really good start. Prototype, not at all! Masquerader Raid already passed. RD Gamer tries as well. This time there's not as much as a kerfuffle as we had in Bahrain on the first lap. Kimi Rai trying to stay in front of Cherry, who started on hards. Where Setless trying to stay in front of Sharking, the Alpines in 9th and 10th. Retro, I think, stayed in his position. Masquerader with a fantastic start up to second. Nice to see if he can overtake Ref before he maybe runs away. Same as for Prototype. Prototype trying to regain second back on the other hand. Down into the fast chicane. Works. But this obviously gives Rev the field to go away. Spooderman already with the second penalty in the first lap. That's really, really early. Cherry also with a penalty and in the wall. What happened there? So far nothing. We're still under green flag. But the Audi definitely had trouble, and she's also disqualified now. Hitting the wall. I think in turn 12 it is. I don't really know what happened. I can see that Masquerader and Spooderman are technically the winners of the start. Well, I'd say Masquerader because Spooderman already has a penalty. And Prototype doing the same thing as last round. Kimura around the outside of Raid, maybe. RD Gamers there with him. The three cars together. Kimura around the outside of the Cadillac. They're still together. And there's a touch. Our sharking is with that group, so we technically have a big Cadillac sandwich. And now Kimura goes past because I think Raid is out of battery. Oh, there's a collision! Raid, I think, hitting the back of the Red Bull. I don't know, I didn't fully see it, but there is a collision. Raid and Kimirai going really right in turn 1. And profiting from it is RD Gamer and Sharking, who's now right behind Kimirai. Looking to bring his Cadillac into 5th place after his teammate fell back behind Tundra. It really sticks what was said at the beginning. It's all together really, really clumsy today. Let's look at Tundra, who's hard off the string. Might catch up back to RD Gamer, or starts at Kimirai. There's another yellow flag. I think it is Retro again. A lot of yellow. And there's a Cadillac in the wall. Raid going a little bit wide in turn 4. And then spinning out. The Australia struggles, I'll call them now, continue, and they just won't stop. Give Sharking a little bit to breathe because Tundra is now 2 seconds back. But this is a really, really interesting race weekend. Now we have Retro right behind Raid. Obviously hit the wall and has a broken wing. He will have to pit. And now we'll have to hope for a safety car. Only DNF we had so far today is not a DNF, it's a DSQ of Cherry, who seemed to have a mechanical issue because she did get a 10-second penalty for probably a corner cut and then completely slammed the wall. I'm surprised the game didn't give a safety car. I don't even know if they're enabled or not. Sharking will try to stay within the second, and just as I say it is out of it, to somehow get overtake from Kimirai. Himself, I think, is trying to catch RD, who himself is trying to get himself into the podium positions and overtake Masquerader. Spider-Man with another penalty. I do really hope the race settled itself for now. It clearly looks like it. But this was really a really interesting time in quali and those first laps. A lot has happened. And a lot will happen, because that's simply how racing will go, with RD Gamer now having closed up to the Ferrari. Hopefully next week we'll have both of the horses on the grid, with this time Mishko missing, last time Masquerader missing. As well as Williams missing out today. And Raid got lapped. Or Raid is getting lapped rather. That's why he's losing so much time to Spooderman. Yellow flag sector 1 is Protohype. What's going on here today? I didn't catch that one. Protohype with the mistake and the double overtake a la Alex Albon and Franco Colapinto. And now getting countered by Masquerader. This is a bit messy, but still beautiful. Kimirai, meanwhile, having close up to the group as well. This being the second race where he's involved in a collision, but I think at least this time it looked like negatively involved in a collision. Well, it's always negative, but I think you guys know what I mean. Sharking also closing in. No, that's right. Sharking being the Cadillac further behind. Masquerader, Protohype, RD Gamer, Kimirai. Group of 4 people. Battle for P4 down to P5. Last week it was a leading group of 7 people, but Ref has checked out of this race. And is leading quite comfortably. Well, that was a quite interesting camera switch. RD Gamer, Kimirai. Meanwhile, Protohype is using his battery again to get past Masquerader. They are gonna go side by side. No, they're not. Is the Ferrari able to counter? No, because there's no battery. It's a really nice looking group, and also for Ferrari, really jump up from last season. Obviously, the team struggling a lot last year, and also fighting with Haas kind of for the Red Lantern. Mishko finishing now 5th in the first race, and now Masquerader still being in the podium positions. Meanwhile, Kimirai tries to attack RD Gamer. Raid in the end just needs to stay close. Close enough that he can overtake Raf during a safety car. And then hopefully get his lap back. Spooderman doing a penalty speed run. Meanwhile, Kimirai and Masquerader side by side in the chicane. Woo! Well, that happened. And now Kimirai hitting Masquerader in the rear. And letting him stay ahead. Is Kira also missing a bit of wing? Or is that just how the Red Bull ring is built up? It's the Red Bull ring. it's how the wing is built. RD Gamer, he was disappointed with his result in Bahrain. Currently in third though. And Kimura is already past Masquerader. Against Prototype, and Prototype just losing time to Ref. Here, in DRC at least, the Aston Martin seeming pretty much the car to beat, at least in Australia. And here we'll have to wait and see if RD Gamer can pass Proto. Or if he's waiting for the pit stops to maybe the pit strategy is doing it for him. The rest of the grid at this point already relatively spread apart. Only these two pairs still being in a realistic battle. Yellow flag in sector 1. Retro, and Retro is missing a good chunk of his wing. Ah, another hidden wall. And Proto's in the pits. First one to box as well as Masquerader trying the undercut. Medium to hard. Same thing we can expect here. The first two stoppers. Let's hope this Haas can bring it home safely. Big lockup. Just bring it back. Well, Kimirai is still hunting RD. One of the two teams who are still only with one driver, Red Bull Racing. Ref is now pitting. Nearly 12 seconds in the lead. Yellow flag sector 1. Well, the other two are now pitting as well. And Ref is already leaving the pits again. Prototype lost out. No, he did it. He did it. He didn't. Masquerader against RD Gamer. Warm tires against Colt, the Ferrari down the inside. RD Gamer sticks it around. Getting the inside for turn 4 and they touch. Driving a Ferrari has turned into a beat 'em up this season in DRC. RD Gamer throwing everything in there to stay ahead. And Prototype now essentially maybe has a teammate that can help him out, keeping the others at bay, and that's exactly what he does, at least in Sector 3. Giable doing great work keeping RD Gamer at bay, but also brings in Masquerader back in the battle. Great job by the second McLaren. If this group sticks with the battle with us until the end of the race, I am definitely not complaining. But first we have Salmon trying to pass Gibo, who just came out of the pit lane. But I don't think there's any more battery in that Alpine. No, there's not. Oh, Kimirai against Masquerader. Red Bull passing the Ferrari again. Something we, by the way, completely ignored so far, but that's probably also because of the pit strategy. Tundra is currently in third. The Alpine team, which had two great drivers in Rate and Ref last season, who won the Drivers' Championship, got penalized in the Constructors' Championship due to the cost cap infringement. Don't think that did do too much to being the runner-up in the Constructors' Championship. Now, under a new team boss, two new drivers, a really difficult first race back, but they're currently in third with Tundra, who's also a comebacker to the DRC Championship, and part of it in earlier seasons. I can't exactly count which seasons, so I won't even try that. Tundra now deciding to pit. And meanwhile, we have a battle for the last point. We look at penalties. Haas might actually score. Unless they hit the wall! What's going on here? Spooderman and Retro collide. That's just not a corner to go side by side into. That's just not a side by side corner. I'm using my controller way more than the keyboard buttons to switch cameras, but Masquerader hunting down Kimirai. who himself is trying to stay now in the boost mode of the Williams ahead of him. Of a second. Early downshift for our gamer. Kimi closing in. Retro also getting another penalty. Closing in on the penalty tally of Spooderman, which is quite interesting that nobody else has penalties except these two drivers, and they have a total of 21 seconds of penalties between each other. Kimi right here with wiggle. They also seem to close in on Prototype. Now Kimi rides there. Depends how much battery the Red Bull still has. Stays behind for now. And this is against the Audi. Back pedaling. Retro and Spooderman. This is quite the interesting battle. Up front, we have the battle for the podium. Now we have a third driver who, well, kind of finally gets a penalty. And we have these two. They're fighting for their life. For this last, oh so important championship point. And now Kimi has passed Adi Gamer. I think it's on the straight. I'm highly guessing it's on battery. Might be counter, no. Ten laps remaining. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. First, I don't think we had racing rules yet on the grid. I think that's the one team we're still missing an appearance of. I think besides that, everybody was there in these 2 weeks. And there's the next collision, and the next one, and the third one. They'll need to get out of the way. They'll need to get out of the way. Prototype is there. And probably doesn't want to lose time. But first, they'll nearly collide again. Retro and Spooderman. I don't think they're seeing... They're seeing Proto in the mirror. They're not. They're not. They're blocking him. They're blocking the McLaren. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. And instantly go back to battling. What is this? Oh, what was that? And now they're going back to blocking? No, not fully. This is just sad for Proto, who really lost time. What is Spooderman doing? What was that? Retro, who was criticized a lot during last season for some blue flag infringements, did nothing wrong there. And yeah. Eight laps remaining. Are these still in the fight for the podium? Kimura in third. Proto might have lost out during the lapping cycle, but gained his lost, I think it was around 3/10 back. The gap now being up between 1.8 to 2 seconds. Retro equaled the time penalty tally. Let's enjoy this battle for the podium. Still red behind Kimura. The last technically remaining battle of the race. And Kimura spins out in the last corner and loses his wing. Masquerader up to 4th. And Sharking is approaching for 5th. Yeah, that wing is not really existent anymore. Yellow flag, turn 1. Retro. Oh, that still was the last battle on track. King right now either has to heave it home or pit. He'll try heaving it. It's the last thing he can do. Try secure 5th. If he pits, he'll be down in 7th. But yeah, unless something major happens, this kind of concludes the racing as much. It's been a really, really messy afternoon for pretty much everybody. The only one who didn't really have anything for the whole event is Ref. Well, pretty much Proto, but I do count his formation shenanigans in this. The rest, everybody, all had their fair share of either incidents, chaos, blocking others, or whatever. It's been a really, really messy afternoon. So I will take the time out of my life to now look at the calendar and see what the 3rd track of the season is. I mean, I totally have this memorized. Third track is Imola in San Marino next week. Which I'm not fully aware if I'll be here for it. If maybe Zabby's commentating it for you guys. But let's enjoy these last 3 laps. Yeah, here with the Australian Grand Prix. Now, to be fair, I say everybody had their fair share of incidents, but someone who's been that much under the radar, except before their pit stop, that I completely forgot mentioning them at all, is Tundra in 7th. 7 and 9th had their moments, but this is a double points result for Alpine. After the troubles that they had at the end of last season with the budget cap penalty and fully new management. Ref moving to Aston Martin, Raid moving over to Cadillac. Chris, I don't think is a TP at all this season. I'm not fully aware of that. But Corny taking over. Tundra having a really good first race in Bahrain. Sadly no points though, I think. Now coming back for the second round, 7th place is a really solid result. So is Salman, who joined midway through last season after the first and pretty much only fixer event we had. Steadily improved, got a lot more consistent. Might still be a little bit behind the main group, but points are points. And to finish first you have to finish. As far as that saying goes. So 8 points for Alpine. Meanwhile, this might not fully be done yet, depending if RD manages to catch up to Proto fully. It was 7th in race 1 for RD Gamer. Proto luckily got back up to 2nd after a spin in the last lap, in the last corner. As far as things stand, Proto, after round 2, will be leading this championship, considering King James, who won round 1, didn't show up today, and Merck altogether was a no-show. And this might turn up to be quite the interesting championship with these new regulations. And RD is there. 8 tenths will get boost mode. With the comeback of Mike as a team principal. Sector 3 is probably just in a climb going slightly wide. F1 Gibo, who also just came in and scores today for McLaren in 8th place. But this guy has shown today that he truly is the man to beat. If he keeps this pace up, the man to beat all season long. Ref wins the Australian Grand Prix. And with what a margin he does. Prototype and RD Gamer are now just entering the second to last corner. That's not fully done yet if RD is able to dump a lot of energy, or if Proto spins again in the last corner, which he doesn't. Raid finishes 12th, Prototype 2nd, RD 3rd. Masquerader improves from his teammate's position last week a little bit. Or doesn't? Well, that's pretty much as far as the story of this weekend goes. Really well summed up. Kimi Ray finishes 5th. Carries his damaged Red Bull over the line. Shark King, great result in 6th. Another point result for Cadillac. And here we have Tundra crossing the line to finish 7th. Gibo being the last one on the lead lap. Finishing 8th place. And behind Retrospect, missing out on the last point, finishing 11th. Ref wins. First race for Aston this season. First race for Ref this season. Catapults him up in the championship. Besides him, 2 Canadians. Three manufacturers on the podium. Aston Martin, Williams, and McLaren. Great results. And here you have it. The game says RD Gamer driver of the day. don't agree, but I never agree with the game. Ref just too dominant today to have any doubt in my mind that this is the drive of the day. Ref Prototype, RD Gamer, Masquerader, Kimirai, Sharking, Tundra, Jibo, Salmon, Spooderman with the last point, Retrospect Raid, then outside of the points, and Sherry having a DNF. I wish you guys a great rest of your Sunday. I hope to see everybody of you back with us for Imola, and